Good morning, dancers. So, becoming a dance teacher is one of the hardest things. You transition from being a dancer to all of a sudden becoming a dance teacher. And there's a lot of challenges that come in when you're first starting to become a dance teacher. So I'm hopefully gonna give you some tips on how to become one, and let's get started. Teaching yourself is so helpful. This, I think, can be applied before you even get into the classroom. So give yourself a class in your home or at your local dance studio. That can be extremely helpful for being able to get in the classroom and feeling a little bit more confident. So you can be two different people, kind of role play it. So you can be the teacher and then also be the student. So how is this teacher, or how as you as the teacher, going to give the corrections to the student, then try to apply them? It's really difficult to do at the beginning, but you'll start to get comfortable with it, and I think it will make you feel better and more prepared in the classroom. So a good way of being able to start out is to teach in your neighborhood or your local community and just teach a few classes here and there. Maybe you can start with a summer intensive, or for instance, I sent out flyers when I was a little bit younger, and it was to people in my community, and it was people that I usually knew, and I invited to my house, and it was just on a carpet floor that we had the class, but it was so much fun, and they didn't know anything about dance, but it was just fun to be able to teach them. They were experiencing ballet for the first time, and so you can really share the arts and the love or appreciation for dance and be able to bring it into your local community and wake people up to the idea that dancing is really fun and enjoyable. And yeah, they might never have experience to the arts, but you might be able to help them experience that. So they might be helping you as, hey, they're coming in and helping you learn how to teach for the first time, but you're also helping them. It's a give-give relationship, and it's really exciting and fun. So just enjoy the process of bringing people in to your local home. You can also, I don't know, find country clubs. Some gyms might even be able to have places where you can teach. You might have to work that out with them or the clubhouse, but again, you can find different ways, or your local studio, of being able to teach just a few classes to get your feet a little bit wet into that area of, okay, is this something that I even like to do? How do I become a little bit familiar with it before you're signing that first contract of, oh, this is a full-time year commitment. So just getting your feet wet just a little bit will help you feel more comfortable and confident for that whole year experience of teaching dance. Assistant teaching. So you can assist teach at your local dance studio where you are at. Probably you can talk to some of the people there, ask them, hey, is there any opportunity for me to be able to, you know, just shadow or experience teaching? I'd really love to assist a teacher. So I had this one teacher, she was so wonderful, and she taught several different levels, and I would just be there for one night a week, and I would demonstrate combinations. I would, like, she even gave me liberty at one certain point in time. You kind of have to ask, but she gave me liberty eventually to be like, hey, you can go give a correction here, or hey, will you help with this? And it was really a wonderful experience where I was able to help the studio, I was able to help the teacher, but I was also able to learn and grow from that experience. So that's another opportunity you can take to be able to become a dance teacher, another stepping ground for you to help you feel comfortable. Music is so important. I remember thinking when I was walking into my first class, and I was like, oh my goodness, what, you know, I had picked out some music and it didn't really quite work out, but there's some music that I'm going to link in the description below that might help you break up the classroom. So there's some music that has in it, I should have brought my phone, but it has, for instance, plies and then tendus, and sometimes you're so overwhelmed by, oh my goodness, I'm teaching class for the first time. But when you have that all broken up within the class, you're able to be like, okay, I need to teach a combination on this next, you know, and then it might help you a little bit with the music, and the music really goes with the timing and everything and just is broken up really nicely. So I'm gonna link some in the description below so that hopefully it will help you teach in the classroom. Making notes on the side. So when you're injured, when you have gone through certain circumstances, or you're really sick for some reason, mostly when you're injured, you can use those opportunities actually to not just sit in the classroom, but use them to be like, writing notes down and say, oh, hey, like, I can write this combination down. I really liked that combination. Or, oh, she gave an amazing correction. I'm going to think about that, write it down. Or that correction might even be so inspirational, you use it to teach one day. And you have some of those notes to look back at. I remember there was this one dance teacher and I was injured, and I just wrote down a lot of her combinations, and she really inspired me to become that certain type of teacher. I feel like there's certain teachers that have these different styles of the way they present combinations, and I really loved the way that she gave combinations, to where I took that kind of style and implemented it into my dancing, or into my teaching and dancing, I guess, because I'm demonstrating, but teaching experience, to where I gave it to different dancers. So I love doing these certain combinations that are like front and back and side, and she really loved doing that, and I love doing that as a teacher. And so you can get that certain type of style. You can write down different corrections, different notes, and really it's very helpful in the future, especially if your idea of, hey, I'm going to become a teacher in the long run. I'm not going to have my dancing career stretch out throughout all of my life. So you're already thinking and planning for the future. That can help you in the future to plan in writing those notes down. You can look back at them in the future. How do you structure a class? So obviously the music that I was going to tell you about, and will link in the description below, it will structure your class a little bit for you with plie, tendu, dégagé, etc. But beyond that, I want you to think even deeper about, okay, what is the main theme, or the main objective? What is the main objective that I want to get across to my students today? And maybe it's throughout the entire week. And so you structure your classes around that main point. So it could be to move through the balls of their feet, or how to work on their articulation of the foot. How might you be able to break that class down and be able to structure it in such a way that they really think about how to work through their feet a little bit more? I think, you know, you can go in and you can just teach multiple classes. But when you have a little bit more of a focus, dancers are really able to focus in on those points and be able to learn and grow and just experience and do dance better as a result of different teachers in their life. And some of those teachers are the ones who structure their class, who think about the main objective and the main point in their class. So think about that and how to implement it into your classroom. Inspirational teachers. I'm going to just say inspirational teachers, but I think we can all learn and grow from those teachers that have not been the best of teachers. So I'm going to give you an exercise. You can choose to do it or not, but I think it's extremely helpful if you're thinking of becoming a dance teacher. So open up a notebook and you can write on one side the teacher that was inspirational, and you can think through what made them inspirational. Think of different questions. So ask yourself maybe 5 questions and then answer those questions, and that will help you think through maybe how you can become a better teacher. And then on the other side of the page can be the teacher or the teachers that you did not think were inspirational? Why were they not inspirational? Again, write down 5 different questions of why they were not inspirational, and then you can take that and use that to become a better teacher. There were 2 different dance teachers that I had experienced, and they were from the New York City Ballet, and they taught me, and I was really excited to be able to meet them. They came into the classroom and all of us students were super excited, and one of them was so impressive by the way they taught dance, and then the other one, it dampened our expectations, I guess, of, oh, this was like, you know, someone who is a professional dancer. They, you know, were from the New York City Ballet, but they just didn't have what it took to become a teacher. And so I started thinking about what was the difference between these 2. And one of them was that they had this certain type of character that pumped these dancers up, pumped me up, encouraged me, was enthusiastic, and this other dancer just was down. It really came down to character quality. One had a humble attitude and the other one was just prideful and looked down on us. And I think those 2 different things really make a difference in the classroom, setting the tone for what those dancers are going to experience. Developing an eye for your dancers and how they feel, and just walk into the classroom. They might walk in and they are feeling really down in the dumps, I guess you could say. They've had a hard day, maybe at school, maybe they've come with some baggage from home life. You never know where your dancers are going to be. They also might be experiencing an injury. So us as teachers, we have to look around at the dancers, not just looking at ourselves, thinking about ourselves, kind of like what I was talking about with character quality, but think about others. Be other-center minded around the classroom and think about how each dancer is feeling, what they're experiencing, and then be able to teach. You might not be able to handle that at the beginning. That's okay. But developing an eye, thinking about others in the classroom, and getting your mind off of yourself and onto them will be really helpful in the classroom. So I don't want y'all to get overwhelmed. I know that this can be all very overwhelming when you start thinking about all of these things. You can think about so much and it can be very overwhelming. When I went into my first dance class, I did not have it all together. I didn't even think about all of these different things. I was just like, how in the world do I give a combination? And I had practiced on myself. I had given different combinations elsewhere, and when it came time for my first, contract throughout the entire year of teaching dance, I was like, oh my goodness, I do not know what I'm doing. I didn't even turn on the music. I was like starting to give my first combination. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been given these dancers and I do not know what I'm doing, but I don't want to tell them that. It's okay to not have everything put together right away. It takes time, it takes practice. If you think about that first pirouette that you did, you probably didn't do it perfectly, but you went for it. You went for it and you sometimes managed to get all the way around, sometimes you didn't. But you got better over the course of time. And that's what this is going to take. It's going to take time, it's going to take practice, but you're going to do it. This is my first YouTube video that I'm sending out for you dancers, and I'm hoping to send out more videos like this. But click the thumbs up and hit subscribe if you liked it. I'm not perfect at making videos, and you might not be perfect at teaching your first time. So anyway, we're learning together. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.